Hello, 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 and welcome back to the channel. So, as probably all of you know, my album released yesterday. So link will be in the description if you want to go and check that out. It's also on YouTube. The full album, 13 songs, and not the 12 that are on streaming services. So yeah. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be going through every song and explaining how it's important to the story and what the story actually is. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. So, the first song is called O's Melody, and basically what it is, it's an explanation of the character of O. And you may be thinking, why did I name the protagonist in this story O? Because that's kind of a stupid name. And I agree. Most people do not have the name O. If you can find somebody that's legally named O, that would be very interesting. But anyway, I named the character O because think of a time where you were like, when you said the word O, it's a word that can describe so many emotions, and there are many, many emotions throughout this album. If you get news that you've received an F on a test, you'd go, oh. If you've received news that, I don't know, you've just won the lottery, you'd be like, oh. And if you've received news that like a cool fact or something, like someone's just telling you a cool fact, you'd say, oh. Like, there's so many different ways that you can say the word oh, and that's why I decided to name the character O, because not only is he a representation of all the emotions on this album, he is also representative of what happens through the album, because his name literally defines what he's feeling at all times, because the word O can mean so many different things. So that's why I named the character O. As for the girl in the album, I didn't give her a name because I think that I actually don't know why I didn't give her a name. I just didn't have time. That'll be my excuse. But either way, it didn't really matter. So we've explained why O is named what he is. Let's actually talk about O's Melody. O's Melody is a song that talks about the character of O. Not just the emotions that he feels, but also who he is as a person. The first verse talks about his excitedness and his personality, and the second verse talks about how he is romantically, and the third verse introduces his love interest without a name. Yeah, that's just how we'll refer to it. Love interest without a name. So there's that. And that's basically the premise of O's Melody. It may seem like a bit of a random song for a storytelling album about a love journey, but it's very important because it introduces the character, refines why O is named O, and introduces his love interest as well as a really good way. I feel it's a really good way to start the album. So that is O's Melody. The next song is called Psychedelic, and I know psychedelic is a bit of an interesting word. I actually found it. I used to listen to the Beatles a lot, and I found this word through them because the Beatles often recorded and wrote songs when they were really, really high on LSD. So yeah. So I called this song Psychedelic because at this point in the story, O is like, his love interest is like a drug to him because he just loves to be around her all the time, and he loves hanging out with her. And oh, I almost forgot. I can't believe I forgot this. At the end of O's Melody, he basically asks her to like hang out sometime because he really likes her. So that is the end of O's Melody when I'm editing this. So yeah, psychedelic is a word that means, typing it in right now, psychedelic. Psychedelic means relating to or denoting drugs, especially LSD, that produce hallucinations and apparent expansion of consciousness. So, I know it's difficult to imagine a person being a drug, but that's kind of what the love interest is to O at this point in the story. Not in like necessarily a creepy way, but in a way that's like, oh my god, I love being around this person so much. I love hanging out with her so much. I wish I could be with her, and she's a great person. Because like he can't get enough of hanging out with her because, you know, they both have such a great time. And I make several like notes of like hallucinations throughout the song. I think one of the lines I wrote these songs months ago, so I don't remember everything and every line, but I'm pretty sure one of the lines is um like in my head I can like I'm like hallucinating and I'm seeing some kind of relationship without fear or something. I can like and maybe in the pinned comment I'll put the actual lyric, but something like that. So I wanted to really make sure that was clear because it's not psychedelic as if like he's like smoking a drug. It's more as if he's in the presence of a drug and he's starting to get addicted to it because he loves hanging out with her so much. Not in a creepy way or anything though, because that would be bad. Yeah, so Psychedelic is his introduction to really, really wanting to be with her. And then the next song is called so that's Psychedelic. And then the next song is a skit called Q&A, and I didn't remember how cringy this skit was. I'm definitely not doing skits on my next album. That's besides the point. So the Q&A is basically where he asks her out. So he is on the phone with her. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. And he's like, I know we've been friends for a while, but I want to be with you and I want to ask you out. And then it's left on this suspense at the end because it doesn't say whether she says yes or not. That comes in the next song, Commencement, but it leaves you on this cliffhanger, and that's why I believe it's important. And it's also really important because this is literally the bridging point between Psychedelic and the next song, Commencement. So asking her out is very important to the story. And then we have the next song, Commencement, and it's revealed in the first verse she said yes. So now they're dating and everything's great. And the song is basically about how happy how happy O is that the drug is finally gone, but because the drug was him wanting to be with her, but now that he's actually with her, it's the drug is gone and now he's with her and he's happy. He's talking about his happiness, and he's talking about the joy of being with her because he was essentially drugged by her for so long. So that's Commencement. And then the next song is Dissimulation. And I learned this word from KSI's debut album, Dissimulation. Basically, it's a word that means hiding one's true thoughts or feelings and not telling the truth about someone's true feelings. I don't know why my camera keeps cutting out. That's very weird. Anyway, so this song is a phone call between a person and like his friend. O and his friend. Owen, I didn't give his friend a name either because it's not really important to the story. What's important to the story in this song is the fact that he's trying to hide the fact that maybe things aren't as great in the relationship as they seem. He's like, his friend is like, I've heard you've got a girlfriend. That's awesome, man. Tell me about her. That's the first verse, I'm pretty sure. And then in the second verse, he's like, O is like, yeah, I mean, everything's going great. There's no problems. Everything's perfect. And it sounds almost too real. And, you know, I follow this rule. When something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So when I say in the song, when O says in the song, and everything is going absolutely fine and there's no problems at all, it sounds a bit sketchy because no relationship is absolutely perfect. I mean, I don't have experience with this, but I know for a fact that no relationship is ever 100% perfect all of the time. So that's why I try to make it sound pretty clear that something is not up because of how much he's 100% exaggerating the well-being of his relationship. So I wanted to make that clear. And then the third verse is kind of the point where he's realizing, yeah, maybe I am dissimulating. I'm not telling the truth about how I feel because maybe everything is not as good as it seems. And it's really the point in the story where he realizes something is wrong. So that's Dissimulation. The next song is called Premonition, and basically Premonition means a feeling something bad is about to happen. So this is the song where he's fully come to terms, when I say he, I mean O. This is the song where O fully comes to terms with the fact that something is definitely 100% not right, and he's starting to see more and more of sides of her and him as well that he doesn't like. And there's clearly a divide forming between the both of them, and it's becoming a problem. So this is where he truly realizes the problem. And then the next song is called Disappointed, and this song is not on streaming services, so you'd have to go to YouTube to find it, but it's on my YouTube channel, so there's that. Disappointed is the song where it basically reaches almost rock bottom. The relationship almost hits rock bottom because they both become so angry at each other, and they were both so hyped up by this relationship because they went into it way too quickly. With only 3 songs in, they're already into a relationship, and they're both now realizing that it was probably a mistake because they both don't really like each other that much as it seems. But the problem is that they need to continue to stay with each other because that's the only way they can express their emotions clearly and vividly to each other. So this is the point where they both realize that this is not good. Like, the relationship is not good at this point, and there's 100% a problem, and they need to either fix it or break up and never speak to each other again. And that is preluded in the next song, I'm Sorry, featuring iriasona. So I'm glad I got to collab with her in the song. She's a very talented singer, and she did amazingly on the track, I think. This song is rock bottom. It's not even that they're mad anymore, they're just sad. The previous song, they were angry at each other, and they were fighting each other, not physically, but verbally, which is also very bad, but not as bad as physically. And this song, they've just essentially given up. Mostly O. He's reflecting on how the relationship started, how it progressed from very good to bad to very bad to where they are right now. And where they are right now is not good. They've essentially just given up on repairing the relationship, but mostly O, because he's just like, why did I do this? And why did I think this was a good idea? Why did I ever think it was a good idea to rush into a relationship so quickly? And it really goes back to that theme of not doing drugs. That was the theme I was going for. Not particularly, but it also kind of it also kind of leads back to that. And then at the end, he's like, I guess I kind of wanted to set the stage. He's like rapping in his house, talking about this, and then he's like, she's gonna come home later, and she's probably gonna break up with me because of how the way things are going in a relationship right now. So he's come to terms with it, and he's not even mad or sad or disappointed. He's just accepting, and he's ready for it to end. So that is I'm Sorry. And then the next song is a skit called Down, and I don't know really how to say that, because it's down followed by an ellipses and then a question mark. So this is the skit where, she comes home, the door closes, and then before she says anything, he's always like, I'm glad we got to do this, and I hope we both come out of it better for the long run. I wish you nothing but the best, and then he stops speaking. But then she does something, and that's when the skit ends. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then the next song starts, Stability. Obviously a very different title than Disappointed and I'm Sorry and Premonition, Dissimulation, all of that. So this song is an explanation and a kind of new beginning for them, because obviously they were not in a very good place for the past 3 or 4 songs, or I guess chapters in the story, as I call them on YouTube, chapters. So they were not in a very good place, but then she basically explained to him how she was feeling, and then he reciprocated that. And then she described how they're going to fix their relationship because they need to, because they both, deep down, they both love each other, and they both need each other, and that's why it's so important that they do this. So it describes the ways that they're going to do it, and how they're going to fix it and mend it and stay that way and not essentially go back to what they were before, or even when they first got together, because it was essentially a fake happiness because they didn't know what was coming. It was essentially false hope. So that's what Stability is. And the next song is called Turnaround, but it's spelled turnaround backwards because, turn around, you get the idea. Basically, this song is it's like almost an interlude, but not really, because an interlude is not 4 minutes long. But this song is like 100% they are going to get through this, because at this point they understand how they need to fix their relationship. They're already doing it, and they're doing it well. And you can hear in the happiness in O's voice that it's definitely working, and they're going to continue and keep working, and they're still working, and they're going to mend the relationships and mend the relationship and come out of it better as a whole. And still working leads perfectly into the next track, Still Working. So this song is the final actual song in the album, and this provides themes from all parts of the album. It goes back to their beginning, and he says, I'm glad we were happy then, but it was a fake happiness. I'd rather be us now, where we understand each other a lot more than we did in the beginning. He reflects on the middle, where they were not in a good place at all, and where they almost broke up and separated, and he speaks about how that made them stronger. Then he speaks about the reunion and the mending of their relationship and how it's put them into where they are now. And he also describes a typical day for them as opposed to what a typical day looked like in the middle of their relationship where it was not good, just showing the stark contrast between those two universes that existed in the same universe only a couple of songs ago. So that is what Still Working is about. And then the final track is an interlude called O's Journey, and this really just sums up the whole album. It's just saying we're going to continue working, but we're in a much better place than we were at the beginning, the middle, and even a day or two ago. We're getting better every single day, and we're letting you know this is for real, and this is going to keep working. So yeah. It also ends with a robot saying thank you for listening to this record, because it's 41 minutes, and I'd like to thank the listeners for listening. So, that is my full explanation. I guess I could obviously go more into depth, but that would take like an hour, and I don't want to do that because my voice is already tired. So, thank you for watching this video. The album link is in the description, both the YouTube playlist and the link that is like shows you all the websites where you can listen to it. Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Napster, Deezer, Tidal, Amazon Music, Google Play, all of them. Make sure to go stream O's Journey and listen to it if you haven't already. And thank you for your continued support throughout my album making drop thingamajig. I appreciate all your support. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. That would be very, very appreciated. And drop a like in the video. Join my Discord server in the link below. We have a lot of fun stuff going on there. And make sure to follow me on Instagram, where I post regular updates about what I'm doing in my music world all of the time. This is Beyond B, signing out. O's Journey, out now. Listen, thank you, goodbye.